All right. It is Thursday, and you know what that means? It is. You can't make this shit up. All right. We are broadcasting from the Oxford Sports Pub and Secret Society. There we go. All right.
I want to lean into that some more.
Yes, I like that. I
Come
like
up with
that.
a password every week or something.
Right.
Figure out a way to promote it and do something online with it. We can have fun with that.
I like that. I like that. Today, joining me is Christian Lloyd Suarez.
Hey, thanks for having me, David.
Right. Of course. Thank you. Christian is the executive director of POLSA, also known as Political Salsa. Hey, March 3rd, Friday, March 3rd, Christian will be doing a Twitter live on the POLSA Inc. Twitter page.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
It's like a podcast live, right?
Exactly.
Twitter Spaces is called.
Yes.
And we're going to call it Pulsify.
That's right.
So it's like a play on the words. Oh, FYI, right? Pulsa,
Exactly.
Political Salsa, FYI.
Yep.
Trying to put information out there.
Yeah, we're starting the branding, the marketing for Political Salsa coming in July at Roboland, and we're excited.
Yeah, very excited. This should give us about a 4-month ramp up period, sort of to kind of speak and communicate with our audience.
Exactly.
Something we had never done before.
Mhm.
And actually, it seems to me like you have to have a podcast nowadays. If you're trying to do anything really serious,
Correct.
you're gonna have to have a podcast along with it so that you can communicate your efforts.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. It's just one of those mediums that you use to get to the community that you're trying to grow, create, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But another means of letting people know what's going on,
Right.
how's it going, and where you're going.
Right.
You know, so
Right. What's the roadmap?
Exactly.
Hopefully, get a little bit more buy-in that way.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I'm excited for it. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Political Salsa. I'm excited for you.
It is it's crazy. I've been something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and I'm enthusiastic to talk about just plans and start kind of like almost open sourcing the conversation, speaking to people and taking some input on it. Also, would be fun.
Exactly.
It is a little weird. Just the attention on it. It's very cool.
All
It's
right.
very cool.
Excellent.
I'm excited about it.
So Joel is not with us right now. However, Christian has gladly and nicely filling in for Joel, and we're going to jump right into it.
There you go.
You know, the Democrats just had their election for the Florida Democratic Party chairperson, and the Democrats have chosen Nikki Fried, the former Secretary or Agriculture Secretary of Florida.
Okay.
And she was chosen by the Democrats over the past weekend, and it comes with some mixed reviews.
I can tell you my first impression is I know her name.
Yes.
I don't know very many statewide Democrats that have sort of a name recognition across the state.
Correct.
It's interesting that they would choose her. Kind of makes sense. It does make you wonder why she didn't run for governor. And I wonder if there's some inner machinations I just don't understand.
Right.
You know?
And I understand the name recognition part. She was the highest ranking Democrat in state office.
Agricultural commissioner.
Exactly.
Which is what Adam Putnam was, right?
Exactly.
And Adam Putnam ran for governor against DeSantis.
Exactly. And lost in the primary to DeSantis.
So she was on that gubernatorial track.
Exactly.
She had her pictures on the gas stations everywhere.
Yes.
I think I've shared with you before how much I love that. I thought it was bold. I'm not used to seeing Democrats take swings like that.
Right.
I liked it. I thought it was a lot of political capital, but don't
I
know.
did too. I thought it was brilliant. You know, if you are the agriculture commissioner
Mhm.
and you do regulate the gas pumps,
Right?
hey, put your face, put your name. Your name's going to be on there. Put your face on there. There was some pushback
Sure.
from the conservatives, and she acquiesced and
Yeah.
took her picture off. However, you know, she was bold enough, like you said, she was bold enough to do it.
Mhm.
It took some cojones.
It did, and it got her name out there. It was relevant. They didn't like it because it was the type of thing that Republicans are very good at doing, is utilizing the rules in a way that to benefit yourself. So,
And the agriculture commissioner is not one of those big name in your, you know, life, daily life
Right.
type of offices. I
Mhm.
mean, sure, the gas pump, for instance, regulation regarding whatever the office does, but it's not like the governor, of course, or the secretary of state, for
Right.
instance,
I wonder
or
how
the
it
other
became
offices.
this position of power or track towards. Meaning, I guess my other question would be: before Adam Putnam, were there any other agriculturals that went from there to gubernatorial? Or
Oh boy, I would
I
not
wonder.
know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, my knowledge of past Florida
Yeah.
political government history, who was where and what, is very limited to
We do know this:
governor.
they're appointed by the governor, right? The
No.
agricultural
No,
commission has to ever run a race.
She had to run for that particular seat. She
Mm.
ran for that
Yeah.
seat and she won.
Huh.
And she won the seat. I forgot who the Republican was, but she did have to be elected to that particular seat.
Mm.
And again, the office is not as popular.
Doesn't touch and concern the lives of citizens, probably.
Yes,
like every day. That's why the gas pump thing actually was so smart.
It really matters.
Like, I actually do touch and concern you every day.
Exactly, and let people know that.
Yeah.
I know the governor, after some time, froze her out of meetings with the rest of the cabinet.
As a result of that,
I don't know if it was a result of that. I believe it started the trend to kind of freeze her out of the daily work of the governor and his cabinet. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's how things are. But she tried to make the most of it. But it was one of those offices that just didn't have the popularity or the name recognition as the other offices.
Yeah. So why did the Democrats have? So they chose her to be the leader statewide of the Democratic Party.
That's
it was
correct.
internal vote within the party.
Within the party, that's correct.
Okay, and do we know her chief opponent? It wasn't Charlie Crist, was it?
No, it was not. It was we had Annette Tadeo was her main competition. There were others, but when it boiled down to it, it was a race between the two of them. And so former state senator Annette Tadeo, she also ran for Congress. However, she lost in 2022.
She's held office as well.
Exactly.
Prominent office.
Yes. She ran for governor. She stepped away in the primary, early in the primary, when it was a field of, let's see,
in 22, we're talking
about? 22. Okay. Charlie Crist, Nikki Fried, and some others. But she stepped out of the race to focus on a congressional seat, which she did not win.
Can we take a step back for a second? Because you can probably help me understand maybe a little bit of history of that. Why wasn't it Nikki anyway? I mean, for instance, if she was the ag commissioner and she had that name recognition, how did it end up being Charlie Crist as the nomination anyway? Do you happen to know how that cat was spun? Is that a thing? Skin that cat?
Now this is my hypothesis.
Okay.
From what I saw from my vantage point, Charlie out-hustled Nikki in regards to the party regulars coming behind him and supporting him. Nikki lost. She lost by a great deal in the primary to Charlie Crist.
I remember that.
And Charlie being the congressman, Charlie being the former governor, people felt that, okay, this is our best bet, electability. Nikki Fried, Commissioner Fried, had some issues early in her campaign that raised some doubt, some personal issues that, in my eyes, would raise some doubt about her electability. as a governor candidate. She just didn't connect with people the way that Charlie did. I did hear here in Central Florida, I saw a lot of Charlie Crist. I saw a lot of his supporters. I saw him visiting, meeting with Central Florida leaders. So I believe that he out hustled her. The money was there. And it was like, a pillow. Charlie Crist is like that, your favorite pillow or that favorite blanket that you had. You're used to it. You're comfortable. It's familiar.
I have another word, another phrase. I could characterize it differently, I bet. But let me ask you this. I have a distinct feeling he wasn't seeking this Democratic leadership position that Nikki was he? Probably wasn't even involved in this.
As far as the Florida Democratic Party chair, no, he was not. No.
Fascinating. For me, as an outsider, I go, he liked the race. He wanted a race. He wanted to raise the money, the funds, be the guy, the candidate. But what Charlie Crist is very good at. He's a candidate. He's always candidating.
He took a horrible loss by DeSantis, and Charlie Crist being the chair, running for chair, it just wasn't there. I couldn't see it happening. Nikki wasn't really that much better. She got a thumping in the primary.
Can we make a distinction between a good chair and a good gubernatorial? A good governor, like a good candidate, but what would it take? Because aren't the same skill sets required? I mean, some of the same relationships.
The relationships definitely, and in my podcast, the David Washington Show, I break down in 20 different points.
Oh wow!
What the Democratic Party needs to do to recover, revitalize, and take over Florida politics. And part of what came up was what you just said. What traits does a chair need to be successful as far as a chair versus a
gubernatorial candidate, right?
Exactly. Gubernatorial candidate. As far as the chair, they need to have the relationships, first of all, and not just the relationships in Tallahassee, which is a knock against Commissioner Freed.
Right.
She
commercial
lobbyists.
Charlie Crist undoubtedly has that.
He does. But relationships with the individual party leadership in the counties, that does matter. It really does.
As far as fundraising, is that why it matters?
No, before we even get to fundraising,
issues.
Someone that the chair can walk into a DEC meeting and know people, not just the chair of the DEC meeting, the local county Democratic Party meeting, but with some of the membership, someone who wasn't there just because there's an election and they're fundraising, but has established relationships. And it's difficult to do that across the state, but some familiarity.
Is it a fair criticism to think, again, as an outsider, to say, yeah, but maybe that's the thing I wouldn't want. You consider it all, say, I don't want somebody so comfortable. Maybe necessarily. Maybe it's to have a disruptor. There's been an argument for that, to have somebody who's not so comfortable, who's going to ask tough questions.
And there was a candidate who was like that. She was the progressive in the race. And forgive me, I don't remember her name offhand. And she's in my analysis of the debate that was held for by the Democratic Black Caucus, she seems to have been that candidate who was that disruptor.
Some new blood.
And when I listened to the debates, it was pretty much her who spoke more about winning than the other candidates. And that was important to me because I wanted to know, what's the first thing on your mind? Win. That's the first thing. You wake up in the morning, you have your cup of tea, you do what you need to do. You're thinking about winning.
It's a Michael Jordan fan. This is a guy who watched the Bulls.
That's right. That's right. And so, I did not hear that from everyone else. I heard about, the same storyline. We need to do this. We need to do that.
Ideas are calling these general appeals.
Exactly. It's like, give at this debate so close to the election for party chair, give me some specifics.
Yeah, because you're signaling like me. That's all I hear.
Right.
When you're saying these
Exactly.
generalities, like
Exactly.
me, I'm like you. You like me,
Exactly.
right?
And I just didn't hear that from the other candidates. Unfortunately, the progressive candidate, she did not win. Again, it was pretty much between Commissioner Freed and Senator Tadeo, and neither candidate really did it for me.
Mm.
Most of the candidates didn't do it for me. I was hoping to hear or see a plan, and I just didn't see it. In regards to Nikki Fried, the Republicans are celebrating. They love it. They love the fact that someone who did not have the support of Democrats because she lost to Charlie Crist
Right.
in the gubernatorial Democratic
But
primary.
she also didn't support someone locally. I want to say that.
That's
right?
correct. That was brought up by Representative Anna Escamani.
Oh.
In the recent tweet, she noted that Nikki Fried had the opportunity to support Patricia Sigmund, who ran for state senate against Jason Brodeur
in a tight race.
Yes, and
7,000 votes.
Yes,
that's the difference with a ghost candidate.
With a ghost candidate, that's correct. Yes, and who allegedly. Now Senator Brodeur was tied to. I'm sure that's still being investigated.
Right.
But it's an allegation.
I'd love to follow up on this story.
Yes.
This is one we should probably keep our eye on.
Exactly. And so, Nikki didn't come out. She didn't promote.
In support of Patricia.
Exactly. Her PAC did not support. Because, and Nikki's reasoning was because she had a personal relationship with Jason Brodeur. I'm like, wow. In Chicago, again, as I always say, politics is a blood sport. Fuck relationships.
Wow. So this is I won't support Patricia because I like Jason. Me and Jason are cool. So I can't, so it's like I'm putting that before the party's ideas and potential power, leadership, all of that. Wow. I'd love to talk to her about that. That's an interesting choice. This is what Bernie Sanders didn't have the courage to do.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Sure. Bernie said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be responsible for getting Donald Trump elected. I'm not going to let anyone make that interpretation. But Nikki said, I'm not going to support Friedman in this, and ends up being a really close race. So it's like people in the Democratic Party are saying, you're not with us. You're not loyal.
And that was one of the knocks against her. She in 2022. Senator Brodeur ran against, or Joy Goff, State Rep Joy Goff ran against Brodeur. Nikki did support her. However, there was no money attached. And, saying I support you is one thing.
Right.
However, if that endorsement comes with some money, that is what matters.
Yeah, what's that support look like, right?
and so there's that disappointment. Also, her close ties, Nikki Fried's close ties to lobbyists. It just, for some Democrats, it just didn't rub the wrong way.
Yeah.
Other Democrats are like, hey, she is supportive of the party. She's a Democrat. She supported, other candidates. She's been there for this demographic or another. We need to get behind her. I always believe, and I know this in my heart, that you're only as good as your last election,
right? Your
last game,
right?
And she lost. And I was listening to the Florida History podcast, a recent examination of the Democratic Party here in Florida, and in essence, it's just saying that the Democrats seem to embrace losing.
Oh my goodness!
They're like the Chicago Cubs.
The former friendly confines, the perfect, exactly. Lovable losers,
lovable losers.
The Democratic Party, you can lose races and move up. Case in point would be the young lady out in Georgia.
Yes.
Abrams.
Yes. Stacey Abrams.
Beto O'Rourke. These guys just lose. Mayor Pete. Kamala, our vice president. Couldn't win her home state, didn't even last, and she's the vice president.
Yes, that's correct. And so, even Scott Maxwell from the Orlando Sentinel, he's like, okay, this doesn't really get me excited, and it doesn't get other Democrats excited. And I just want to, there was an interview with City and State Florida with Chris Ziegler, the new GOP
The
chair.
Republican chair, right?
Yes, and he was asked. The Florida Democratic Party also has elected a new chair. You have been critical of her, Nikki Fried, on social media. What are your thoughts on the Democrats' decision to elect Nikki Fried as her new chair? And he says she's made my job a lot easier. We're not going to let off the gas. But
Let
as
off
a
the
re-
gas. I
Yes,
knew I see what
that's
you're
right.
doing there.
But as a Republican, as the Republican Party of Florida chairman, I could not think of a better person to lead the Democrat Party at this point. I look forward to watching her struggle and watching her fail on the Democrat side.
Jeez. This is where we're at. This is where we're at.
This is where we're at.
I look forward to watching her fail on the Democratic side. Well stated, Christian. Good job, bud. I just,
So-
anyway, I get it though.
Mhm.
I get what he's saying. We're not going to let off the gas, he says.
Yes, the Republicans are
Licking his chops, basically.
yes, they're ready.
Couldn't think of a better one. Charlie Crist might be a better for him.
I don't know what Nikki's going to bring. I do know she just tweeted.
What does she believe?
Right.
What does she believe?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Legalizing marijuana. I really don't know.
Okay.
Making it, commercially viable in Florida.
Sure.
I don't know, but I do know
Okay.
is that she on March 6th, I believe, there's a fundraiser showing the theme is legislator appreciation.
Oh,
Then I was like, really?
wow.
Really?
Wow.
Legislator appreciation.
We should pass a bill that gives them a whole month. Legislative Appreciation Month.
So I don't know if this is for the
Replace
Republicans with their super majority, but I think the lowest ticket amount is $500. So she's out there trying to raise money. I can tell you that.
Maybe this is a good
Tallahassee.
segue for the other bill to introduce the tanking of the Democratic Party.
Oh mercy!
maybe this is a good segue for that.
Will it be necessary seeing the path that the Democrats have taken, especially after the 2022 elections? And you can't blame, as Ziegler has stated, they're gonna not let their foot off the gas. They're going after the Democrats and make sure they become even more irrelevant.
So they're actually doing it by law. They're trying to pass a law to make them irrelevant. Right?
Exactly.
This is a real thing.
This is real. This is real.
This is a local congressman or local state house rep. Who's Blaze? Blaze. Who's he represent? What area?
Egolia? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He is a state senator.
State senator.
I think so. A state senator.
All right.
And he introduced a bill to
I'm going to pull it up.
eliminate.
Yeah. It's to eliminate the Democratic Party.
Right.
Okay.
Let's talk
Talk
about
on the
that.
mic. I can't hear you.
Let's talk about that. But let's talk about that in our next segment.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's okay.
So, Nikki Fried, congratulations. You have the support of Jay in Washington. In the past, we've been able to win without the assistance of the party, but we welcome the assistance of the party to get Democrats elected.
I think they'd be wise to do it, David. She still has enough capital, and I can't transpose any ideas or thoughts onto her yet. She can still make a name for decide what she wants to be.
It's going to be a long road ahead. It's going to be a very long road ahead for the Democrats, and maybe right now she's just setting the foundation for the next iteration of Democratic leadership in the state.
It's not fatal to me that she didn't protect somebody like Patricia Sigmund. I'm sorry, I just don't have an allegiance to her. I don't really know her. I'm sure people do.
It was a race that we could have won, but again, there's a responsibility across the board for all Democrats, for Patricia, for Carlos Guillermo Smith, for Rishi's Baga's camp. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
So everyone, please like, share, hit the notification button. Let us know what you think. You're part of our community. We want to hear what you have to say. Make a comment. This is you can't make this shit up show. I'm thinking of the David Washington show. Awesome.